All right, so we're diving into these YouTube resources you've been digging into, huh? Seems like you're really ready to crack the code on YouTube growth.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and we are here to help unearth that gold, right?
I think it's fascinating. It's amazing how YouTube has, gone from these silly cat videos to like really strategic entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's impressive the level of detail and strategy these creators are putting into their channels.
Yeah. One thing I noticed going through all this is just this like emphasis on courage,
Oh, yeah.
Every creator talks about those first videos and how they had to push past that fear, those anxieties, like just hit record and go.
It's like a classic leap of faith, isn't it? And YouTube Secrets, for example, they really dive into that feeling of being a deer in the headlights.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think, many people can relate to. But then they highlight it's not just about passion.
Right.
Passion's important, but you need proficiency too.
Yeah, it's like those growing your greens guys. Their passion for gardening is so clear, but they also really know their stuff.
Exactly. And YouTube Secrets calls it finding your zone, where your passion, proficiency, and importantly, profit potential kind of all come together.
It's finding that niche, right?
Yes. And it sounds like, a lot like the creators featured in these books, you're on that same quest to find that sweet spot.
Totally. So, okay, say you've got the passion, the skills, the drive, but then there's that question of, okay, what is your channel actually about?
And that's where it gets surprisingly really detailed. YouTube Secrets even dedicates a whole section to just choosing the right name, which I was surprised by.
Oh, wow.
They even talk about trademarking early on, which seems kind of intense.
Oh, interesting.
But it's also really smart.
It is smart because it's like laying that foundation for a brand, even if you're small.
Yes.
Having that forward-thinking approach.
Absolutely.
That can save you headaches down the line. And then speaking of foundations, they talk about aligning that channel name with your website, your social media, everything.
Yes, creating a really cohesive brand experience right from the get-go.
Right.
Because you only get one shot at a first impression, right?
That's true.
And they say viewers decide whether or not they're going to stick around within the first 5 seconds of landing on your channel.
5 seconds. Oh, my goodness.
Talk about pressure.
So what do you do? What do you do in those 5 seconds? How do you make them count?
They have this great tip about your About page.
Okay.
They make it viewer-centric. Don't just talk about you. Talk about the value you offer them.
So using you language, like highlighting the benefits for the viewer.
Exactly. It's about what they get out of it, not just who you are.
That's really smart. And then on top of that, they even recommend trademarking your channel name early on. Now, that one kind of surprised me. I wouldn't have thought about that so early in the game.
Yeah, and they argue it's about protecting your brand long-term, especially if you ever see yourself, expanding beyond just YouTube.
Makes sense.
It's about thinking bigger picture.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody coming in and like swooping in with that name later on.
No, you don't.
If it blows up or whatever.
Right. Yeah. You got to protect it. Okay. So we've got the name, the brand's cohesive. Now for the fun part, the content, what kind of videos are people actually going to, click on? What's going to resonate?
One of the best takeaways from YouTube Secrets is they emphasize giving, real value to your audience.
Okay.
And they break it down into these categories. So they have like news, entertainment, education, vlogging.
It's like that whole edutainment thing, which is so popular now,
Yeah.
where it's like you're learning, but you're also entertained.
It's finding that blend, right?
Okay.
The book really stresses playing to your strengths, figuring out what you're passionate about, and of course, consistency. That comes up again and again.
Consistency, the struggle. They recommend treating your channel like it's a TV show.
Yeah.
With a regular release schedule.
Yes. Viewers crave that consistency. It builds trust, builds anticipation. In fact, they recommend at least weekly uploads to keep that momentum going.
Weekly. Wow. Okay, that's dedication.
Yeah.
But it's not just about churning out anything, right? How do you make sure your videos stand out in such a crowded space?
They talk about how content value, especially in the beginning, trumps production value.
Oh, okay.
You don't need a fancy camera, fancy editing software to really grab people.
Right.
It's about the quality of what you're putting out there.
It's like that whole content is king thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do say, as you grow, you want to up your production quality there.
Sure. Invest in some better equipment, maybe.
Like that.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, before we go too far, though, there's one more thing from YouTube Secrets that I want to make sure we hit. Community.
Oh, it's so important. It's not just about putting your message out there. It's about the back and forth.
Right. It's building that tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's engaging. This is where YouTube really shines. It's that direct connection that you just don't get with traditional media.
Right. They even say, like, give your community a name.
Oh, yeah, like the friendliest friends over at the Seconchal Jolie's
Yeah,
channel.
exactly.
It's like you're part of a club.
It is. And it's more than just a name. It's about, like, actually engaging. They tell stories of creators who early on would spend hours every night responding to comments,
Yeah.
even hopping on calls with people.
Building that trust, that connection.
Yeah, like Benji's wife, Judy. She used to dedicate hours every night, even when their channel was tiny, to just talking to people.
Building that foundation. It's really impressive.
It is. And you know what often comes with that trust?
What's that?
Money.
Ah, yes. The monetization question.
Yes. Everybody wants to know, how do I make money on YouTube?
Of course. Of course. Now, YouTube Secrets is very clear. Focus on your passion first. The money comes after.
Right. Value first, money second.
Exactly.
But they do cover all the, the usual stuff, AdSense.
Right.
But then they get into things like affiliate marketing, even like attracting brand deals. They talk about this whole micro-influencer trend that's happening.
It's fascinating, right? These are creators with smaller audiences, but they're highly engaged.
Right. So it's not just about millions of subscribers anymore.
Exactly. It's the quality of those subscribers.
It's about the trust.
Yes. The connection.
Exactly.
And then there's platforms like Patreon with that direct support from your biggest fans.
That's like building your own little support system there.
Exactly. And YouTube Secrets really breaks down the potential of all these different methods, gives you real examples of creators making it work.
And one of their big takeaways is diversify.
Yes.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. You want to create this kind of multifaceted business around your passion.
Right, exactly. Now, with all this talk about content, community, monetization, there's one crucial element that underpins it all: consistency. It really is the common thread, isn't it? Consistency. Yeah. Why is that so crucial, though, for long-term success on YouTube?
Think of it like building a house, right?
Okay.
Consistency is you laying those bricks day after day.
Right.
You might not see the full picture at first, but over time, all those consistent efforts, that's what creates that solid structure, that YouTube empire, YouTube Secrets, really hits on that. Having a schedule, sticking to it, even when you don't feel like it.
Because motivation comes and goes, right?
Exactly.
It's about building those habits. And speaking of habits, I loved their shoot day checklist.
Oh, yeah.
So many efficiency tips. Batch producing content was a big one for me.
Game changer. Recording multiple videos in one go, it's amazing.
Right, because you can set up once, you get in the flow.
Exactly. They even talk about planning out your wardrobe for those videos.
Oh, interesting.
So that it feels like time has passed.
Oh, I like that.
Even though you filmed it all in one day.
Right, these little hacks. And while we're talking about, working smarter, they also talk about building a team, even if it's just like asking a friend to help.
Absolutely. Delegate the stuff you don't like to do, don't want to do.
Right, free up your time.
Focus on the content. There's this funny anecdote in YouTube Secrets about a creator who hired a kid from his neighborhood to mow his lawn.
Okay.
And it turned into this whole working relationship.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's about finding those opportunities, sometimes right under your nose.
Exactly. And as you grow, finding mentors, being part of a community.
Oh, so important.
That can really make a difference too.
Having people who get it,
Right, the unique challenges of being a creator.
Exactly. It's like your own personal cheering section.
Yeah, for sure. And just like any good team, diversity is key. Speaking of which, YouTube Secrets doesn't shy away from the importance of standing out.
Absolutely. You've got to embrace what makes you unique. They give this great example of a tech reviewer who, get this, used to be a professional wrestler.
Oh, wow. What a combination. That's awesome.
Talk about an unexpected blend of experience, right?
Right. What other things are out there waiting to be combined?
Exactly. There's also a story about a creator who completely shifted his channel from self-help content to comedy, and his views exploded.
See, that takes guts, though.
It does. But it's about finding what works.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about standing out, but then comes the question of discoverability. Someone might find your stuff awesome, but they have to be able to find it.
Right. It's like they say, if a tree falls in the forest. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You got to market yourself a little bit. They call YouTube the second largest search engine after Google.
Which is mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. It's not just social media. It's a search tool.
Exactly. So YouTube Secrets, they really get into SEO.
Okay, search engine optimization, I hear that a lot, but what does that actually mean for YouTube?
It's like speaking the YouTube algorithm's language.
Okay, making sure it understands what you're all about.
Right. They recommend tools like even just the YouTube search bar itself, Google Keyword Planner,
Okay.
to figure out what people are actually searching for.
So it's like market research, but for your video.
Exactly. And you want to do this before you even hit record.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Know what people want, then tailor your content.
Makes sense. You wouldn't write a book without knowing your audience.
Exactly.
So treat YouTube the same way. What else with this whole SEO thing?
Optimizing titles, descriptions, even those little tags that nobody thinks about
Oh, right. Yeah.
makes a huge difference. And you know what really stood out to me?
What's that?
The emphasis on suggested videos, related videos.
Oh, yeah, those sidebars.
Yes, that's a gold mine for traffic
Really?
because YouTube's basically doing the work for you,
Okay, interesting.
recommending your stuff to people who've already shown interest in similar things.
So you've got to make sure you're set up to take advantage of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're playing the YouTube game.
Right, strategically.
Yes. And speaking of strategy, there's a whole chapter on trends and what they call tentpole events.
Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't really know what that meant before reading this.
It's like those big moments in pop culture that everyone's talking about.
Okay, I'm with you.
Holidays, movie releases, memes going viral, you know.
Okay, so it's about tapping into that existing energy.
Exactly. YouTube Secrets suggests leveraging that to boost your visibility.
So how do you do that? How do you, like, predict what's going to be big?
Well, they actually recommend using Google Trends
Okay.
to track what people are searching for in real time.
Oh, so you can get ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Anticipate those trends. But a word of caution,
Okay, what's that?
don't just jump on every trend. Make sure it aligns with your brand.
Because otherwise it'll feel inauthentic, right?
Exactly. You don't want to chase views just for the sake of it.
It's a lot to think about, you know?
It is. It's finding that sweet spot between, like, riding the wave and staying true to yourself.
Right, right. So we've covered a ton already, from finding your niche, building that community, the SEO stuff, even monetization. Was there anything else in these resources that really jumped out at you?
You know, one thing that I kept coming back to was collaboration.
Oh, yeah, they talk about that a lot in YouTube Secrets, don't they?
Yeah, they really emphasize that you don't have to do this alone.
Sure, yeah, teamwork makes the dream work and all that.
Exactly. And partnering with other creators can really help you, like, blow up your reach.
Makes sense, but finding the right people is probably key.
Oh, absolutely. They call it audience alignment.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly?
It means finding creators whose audience overlaps with yours.
Got it. So their viewers are interested in what you do and vice versa.
Exactly. So it's a win-win. Their viewers find you, your viewers find them.
It's not about just finding the biggest channel out there. It's about
It's about the right fit.
the right fit, exactly. And that actually ties back into community, doesn't it?
It's all connected. When you collab, you're not just expanding reach, you're creating this energy, this excitement.
Yeah, it becomes something bigger.
Yes. And what better way to fuel that than by making amazing content?
Consistently. We can't forget that part.
Right, consistently. It really is about finding that balance, you know, the passion, the strategy, that connection with your audience.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You know, going through all this with you, it reminds me of something towards the end of YouTube Secrets.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
They ask this question, it's really thought-provoking. If YouTube is a giant search engine, what is the one question that your ideal viewer is dying to have answered that nobody else is answering well?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. It really makes you think about your audience.
It's about understanding their needs, what they're searching for.
And maybe the answer to that question, that's your unique space on YouTube.
It's about filling that void, providing that value.
Yeah, and ultimately building something meaningful, something that matters.
That's what it's all about. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
Me too. This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
It's amazing how much goes into a successful channel.
It's not just luck. It's not just like hoping for the best. It's about being strategic.
Treating it like a business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also never losing sight of like the human element.
That connection. Don't forget the connection.
Right. So to everyone listening, go forth with courage, be clear about what you want, and create. Make something awesome.
And who knows, maybe we'll be deep diving into your channel someday.
That's right. Thanks for being here.